Hi, welcome to the Madison CLD channel. Our topic today is 3 ways that you can increase academic discourse in your classroom, coming from the book called Making Thinking Visible by Ron Ritchhart, Church and Karin Morrison. We're going to talk about some of the routines that are in this book that are great for any subject, anytime. The first one is called I Used to Think, Now I Think. At the end of your lesson, you're going to want the kids to think about what they used to think. You're going to have them write down, I used to think statements. I used to think multiplication was hard. I used to think all dinosaurs ate meat. And then you're going to have them reflect on how their thinking changed throughout the unit. And they're going to write down some statements that start with, now I think. And they're going to say things like, now I think that dinosaurs were all different kinds of animals. So those are the kinds of things you want them to focus on. Don't have them focus on how they used to be wrong and now they're right, but how did their thinking change throughout the learning process. The second routine that you can use is called CSI, which stands for color, symbol, and image. This is a really good routine to use with LEPs or NEPs because it doesn't rely a lot on written language. It can also be a really good way to enhance comprehension and increase metaphorical thinking. Here are the steps. The students need to first identify what the main idea of the topic is. We're going to use salmon for our example. Our main idea is going to be salmon's change throughout their lives. Then after students decide on what the main idea is, they need to choose a color that represents the topic or the main idea. In this case, I'm going to say my color is red because salmon turn red towards the end of their life. Now the students need to think of a symbol to represent the main idea of what they are learning about. My example of salmon, I would use a symbol where it has the arrow that goes around to the top and it comes back around to the bottom. That's my symbol because it's like the cycle of life. The third thing that they need to do is to sketch an image to represent the main idea. My image would be a river that has fish swimming upstream. And that is the CSI routine. The third routine is called 3-2-1 bridge. This could be a great alternative to using the traditional KWL chart. You need to make sure that this one is written down at the beginning of your unit of study because you're going to want to come back to it at the end. So keep it handy somewhere and don't lose it. The first thing that you need to do is present the topic to the kids in a very simple way so that you're not giving them any extra information. They need to write down 3 words that come to mind about the topic. They don't have to be deep. They just need to think of the first 3 things that come to mind. Then they need to write down they need to write down 2 questions about the topic. Again, these don't have to be deep thought out questions. They could just be surface questions. The last thing that they need to do is write down 1 metaphor or 1 simile about the topic. You may want to spend a little time here teaching them what a metaphor or simile is. After you do this part of the routine, go ahead and do all of your instruction about that theme or that unit. And then at the end, you're going to come back and do the same thing again. You're going to have the kids write down 3 words about the topic. Then you're going to have them write down 2 questions that they still have. And then they're going to write down 1 simile or metaphor. Now is called the bridge. This is where you take out the old information from the beginning of the unit and the kids compare them side by side. And they start to look at how their thinking changed. They talk with a partner about what happened throughout the unit that changed their thinking. Then you're going to talk as a class about any of the new thinking that has appeared as a class. That's all I have for you today. For those of you who watch this video to the end, the first 5 people to leave me an email that uses a metaphor or a simile with the word flamboyant, you'll find a prize in your box. Happy teaching.